We've been taking you through the actions in the Africa Cup of Nations ongoing in Ivory Coast, and the tournament is still going to be on until the 11th day in the month of February year 2024, the AFCON 2023 going down in 2024. But then it's the Africa Soccer Fiesta, and it's getting the attention of the entire universe, from Europe to Asia. Even where the Asian Cup is already going on, the attention is still on Africa. And of course, the stars in our land are doing their best to ensure to just showcase the best of African football, and the world seems to be enjoying it. Welcome to the show once again. My name is Abiodun Adewale. You can call me iFlyer, and I will not be running the show alone on this particular edition. I have the delectable Eni Tondaramola. Eni, it's good to have you again.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Nigeria. Good afternoon, Africa. It's good to be here once again. Thank you so much.
Of course, it's another edition, and it's really good to be back. But first, before we go into what the actions are looking like in the Africa Cup of Nations, let's quickly take a review of our paper today, the Punch Sport Extra, and look at some of the major headlines that are making the news in the world of sports today. The biggest one there is saying these wild dogs are deadly, and that's a warning to the Super Eagles of Nigeria ahead of their last group game against Guinea-Bissau in Group A of the Africa Cup of Nations. Tussle for group who wins the group, who comes out in second, and who comes out possibly as the third best placed team is on. And of course, everybody is saying the Super Eagles can make their case and of course stop the group, but then don't throw caution in the wind, and of course don't just throw the wheel ajay and just go against the Wild Dogs, who have a history with Nigeria during the qualifiers and of course in the last AFCON as well. For many other headlines that are there, we have other stories making as far as the Super Eagles are concerned, with Victor Osimhen and Alex Iwobi talking tough ahead of today's game. It's going to be a win for Nigerians. Of course, they won their last game, but then maybe not in the most emphatic fashion, but it was a way Nigerians loved. Maybe they want to give some Nigerians something they will even love more. With the game against Guinea-Bissau later today. Let's just keep our fingers crossed and see what they are able to do. And yesterday we also saw matches where Pats in Dakar rescued a point for Zambia in their second group game, taking the group down to the wire. While we have other story as far as the world of sport is also concerned. Another victor in Nigeria's football, Victor Boniface, is already attracting interest from West Ham United, and the Hammers are ready to just smash their club record fee and bring that man to the Olympic Stadium in England, just as Lobby Stars Football Club of Makurdi are also top of the table as at mid-season in the Nigeria Premier Football League. Good one for them. And in the Premier League yesterday too, we saw Liverpool making a statement for their title contention with a 4-0 win over Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium, and it was enough to take them 5 points clear of Manchester City, at least until they play. So that will do as far as that is concerned. Let's just go straight into the business of the day and talk about the Africa Cup of Nations. And first on our list this afternoon is the tussle for who goes out of the groups, as teams will continue to find their spot in the round of 16. As far as we are concerned, as far as the tournament is concerned at this point, only two teams have their spots confirmed, and that is Cape Verde and the defending champion Senegal, who have won their opening two matches. And the hostilities will begin in Group A, which also has Nigeria, host Ivory Coast, Equatorial Guinea, and Guinea-Bissau. And the one that concerns us most is the one with the Super Eagles of Nigeria against Guinea-Bissau. That game will go on simultaneously at 6 p.m. with the game between Ivory Coast and Equatorial Guinea. From the headlines that we even saw, how deadly can Guinea-Bissau be, having lost 2 matches already in this competition? They are on their way out, but then there could be a clog in the wheel for whatever could happen for the Super Eagles.
Yes, so I think the Super Eagles and the entire Nigeria should be in for a surprise. You expect a surprise. Now, I'm not being pessimistic.
Okay.
It's just that the credentials of the Super Eagles is still not that strong. You can still question some things. Yes, the first game was it was and then the second game, well, you would give them kudos. Yes, but then this game you don't want them to to just sit and relax. You don't want to write off Guinea-Bissau. You understand? They are a team that they've lost 2 games, but then if you notice in their games, they've been able, they've managed to score goals. And we have struggled. We have only scored 2 goals so far. And I think they scored more than 2 goals.
They scored 2 goals in their last game.
In their last game.
But they didn't score against Ivory Coast.
Okay, they didn't score.
Lost 2-0.
So, and this time I'm sure that they will be all out to hurt the Eagles. They will be all out to hurt the Eagles. I just hope that, we don't just relax and, feel that, giants of Africa, we are going to beat these people. It will not come in easy.
Well, talk about hurting the Eagles. It's something Guinea-Bissau have done before, and that was during the qualifiers for this 2023 tournament. Right there in Abuja, they beat us 1-0, but the Super Eagles got their revenge when they played the second leg in their home as well. Another 1-0 defeat for them just to make it even.
Yeah.
In the last AFCON too, we met in the group stages and Nigeria won by 2-0. The last group game, just as this one is. So, what do you make of the history between Nigeria and Guinea-Bissau, no matter how minute it might be? They've done it before. That's some confidence for them to ride. And their coach, Kande, and one of their players is already saying it.
Yes, and even the coach has already said it too, that they will go all out to defeat the Super Eagles. And I think revenge is on the card here for them. It's on the cards here for them, you understand? And, the biggest thing for them is that they want to go out of this AFCON
at least with
a record. And beating the Super Eagles will be like a very big one for them. And I'm sure they'll go all out. They'll leave nothing, like they'll just go all out.
Well, for a tournament that has been providing upsets, that has been giving upsets, it won't be surprising to see Guinea-Bissau trying to match the Super Eagles today. But let's just see. But then, whatever they will do against Nigeria will definitely mean something in the group. In the other match that will be taking place, Ivory Coast will take on Equatorial Guinea. Ivory Coast already have 3 points, and Equatorial Guinea, surprisingly, are leading the group with 4 points. Goal difference ahead of Nigeria. Yeah. All they need, Equatorial Guinea, is a draw against Ivory Coast, while Ivory Coast at least must beat them to be sure that they are in pole position to make it out of the group. While the Super Eagles of Nigeria too, a draw will be enough at least to guarantee second place, if not first place in the group. So let's look at the permutations and the possibilities of who goes top, who comes second, and who comes fourth. And will there be a best loser from our group?
It's dicey. It's dicey. But I can only speak for the first and second, who goes top and who is the runner-up. All things being equal, the Super Eagles win the game today, maybe by a larger goal margin. We can be top of the group.
7 points clear.
Thank you. But then you cannot rule out the fact that Ivory Coast, the host nation, will leave nothing untouched, no stone untouched against
Equatorial Guinea.
Yes, because they can't just they will not. You saw them against Nigeria. They were all out. At a point, they were just all at our out. They were all out. But this time,
but to have kept them out, it took some tactical masterpiece.
Yes, you need to give kudos. You need to give kudos to Super Eagles too for that. However, Ivory Coast also need to be careful because Equatorial Guinea they've showed that they are a free scoring team, especially in the last game. I think they scored like 4 goals. It was 4-2 or thereabouts. Now they've showed that they are a free scoring team, and they will not respect anything. They showed that against the Super Eagles, and I'm definitely sure that they will not respect the Ivorians this time.
All right, so for some of us that are trying to do some mathematics, this is just the way it might end up. If Super Eagles get a win today, they will be 7 points clear on top of the group, and that means Guinea-Bissau will leave the competition with no points. Depending on the result between Ivory Coast and Guinea-Bissau, too, a win for Ivory Coast will take them to 6 points. That means they will be behind Nigeria if Nigeria wins, and of course, Equatorial Guinea, who are leading the group at the moment, will just have to settle for their 4 points that they've had. But anything outside that one, a win for Equatorial Guinea takes them to 7 points as well, and it might just be goals that will determine who tops the group. But then that will be catastrophic for the host Ivory Coast. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and see the way things will pan out in that group.
Who says it should not happen?
Who says it shouldn't even happen? But then the host in front of 60,000 fans, or
we're here for the drama anyway.
We are here for the drama.
We're here for the drama.
And of course, in the course of the show, a guest will be joining us live from Ivory Coast when it's time. I'm very sure we'll bring him on to talk about the atmosphere around Abidjan, particularly today, where 2 big games are going on. Then that takes us to Group B, which has our brothers, the Ghanaians, who are on the brink of elimination from the AFCON for a second consecutive time, and they've not won the AFCON in over 40 years. Only God knows what I drank on the second edition of this show for the year, I tip them as one of those countries that should be fighting to win the AFCON again. But then they already proving me that I was probably high on something. But you never can tell. They have a game of their life today against Mozambique, their last group game, having lost against Cape Verde surprisingly, drew 2-2 against Egypt. They were their own undoing in that game.
You have to say that.
They should have had 3 points by now.
You should
And
say that.
surprisingly, Cape Verde has won that group, and Egypt, who are closer to them, only have 2 points. And
wow.
if Egypt even beats them today, Egypt will only be second with 5 points. So let's talk about our brothers first of all. How do you see Ghana? Are they just gonna go out?
They're gonna go. So I think right at this point, I need a plate of jollof rice, specifically the Nigerian jollof. The Ghanaians are in for a game of their life this AFCON, and it's just quite surprising how they've, if you look at last African Cup of Nations, they lost out in the group stage, if I'm not mistaken, and then again the World Cup qualifiers, they were not strong. You understand? The fact that they got ticket ahead of Nigeria, everybody, like me personally, I was surprised. But then I don't know what exactly is wrong with the Ghanaians. They have, on paper, they have a good squad. They have guys
well,
like...
on paper.
Yes, but they need to show it on the pitch, you understand? Because I watch someone like Kudus, week in, week out,
and
doing
we saw
it
what
for...
he did against
Yes,
Egypt.
but then you need to... he can't do it alone. You understand? He can't do it alone.
All right, at this point, we'll be bringing in our guest who will be joining us live from Ivory Coast. He is Mr. Kunle Salami, an editor with the Telegraph newspaper. It's good to have you once again on our AFCON special. Thank you very much, Mr. Salami, for joining us.
All right.
So they did all this before our match also last week. Well, was it last week? Yes. Yes.
I saw footage
So
too.
they did all of that. They were going around in cars, some of them in some vehicles, and they will come up with their national flags and all of that. That is the atmosphere since morning today. And so they will be going.
Seem to be having an issue with the network there. Let's just continue the conversation before Mr. Salami rejoins us on that conversation. So okay, I think we have him
what
back.
will determine the outcome is definitely going to be what their players will be able to do on the pitch of play. So everything is down to the players. It's down to them to get goals. It's down to them to convert their chances. Don't forget, the team they are playing today, Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea can be tricky.
Sure.
We saw what they did against the Super Eagles. So it is not something that is guaranteed until they prove it on the pitch. It is not guaranteed. The only advantage they have is the 12th man that we talk about in sports term, that when you are playing at home, the 12th man is the fans. I mean, the fans are the 12 people that will support. And the support came against the Super Eagles that time. They were booing our players, they were sharing their own players, but it didn't work. Whether the players of Equatorial Guinea will be able to stand all of this is another issue entirely. So,
all right.
All right,
Mr. Salami, let me quickly play the devil's advocate before we even talk about Nigeria. From the mood that you said, the atmosphere there between among the Ivorians and what it means for their fans who will be coming out. There were about 39,000 of them in that stadium during the game against Nigeria. How bad is it for them? How bad is it going to be for them? There were 49,000 fans, yes. How bad is it going to be for them and their fans if they end up not winning today?
I sincerely want them to progress because it will help the competition. If Cote d'Ivoire, with 3 points, they are likely to go in. Anyhow, they are likely to go in because after the first 2 people must have been picked in each group, they will still pick out of the 6. They will still.
So we still see is one of those that is optimistic that at least even with 3 points,
if they have 4 points, they are good. As I speak with you, the Super Eagles with 4 points, they are good to go. They should go in anyhow as first, second, or third. So Cote d'Ivoire, as the host, they will want to win to get 6 points and pray that Nigeria draws points for them to top the group. However, when we get to Nigeria, we'll discuss it. The Super Eagles must also not try to underrate their opponents. They should go all out to get 7 points. 7 points, no other person in that group can attain it, and then we'll top the group.
All right. So, topping the group, how important is that going to be for the Super Eagles? I think that is a question of who we now meet in the round of 16. So, from the calculations, from the draws that has been made, it's going to be either the third place team from Group C, Group D, or Group E. And from our experience at the last competition, does it even matter that we have to finish top, or we just get a draw, do our work and qualify? How important is it to top that group? Did you get me?
I didn't get you. The team we're going to meet, if we top, we'll meet the third in Group C, D, or E.
Or Group E.
And you know that Group C has Senegal. Let's count Senegal out. They are in with 6 points. They are likely to top the group, if they top the group. But we have a danger team there. Danger in quotes. We have Cameroon, Guinea, and Gambia. Gambia in Group C.
Yeah.
I don't want to meet Cameroon. I'm in Nigeria. I don't want to meet Cameroon. When you meet Cameroon, when you meet Ghana as a Nigerian team, even the dead legs in Cameroon, the dead legs in Ghana, they will come up with their best game. There is that, there is that rivalry. Now, in the other angle, if somehow we play second, we'll be playing the second team in Group C.
Most likely Guinea.
In Group C, most likely Guinea.
Guinea,
in Group, the first team and the third team in Group C could also be Guinea, and there is also D and E in the equation if we play first. So all those arithmetic will be determined by CAF. There is D, there is E, there is C. In E, we have DR Congo or Zambia, because we are still thinking Morocco could top the group. They already have 4 points. They could top with the last round of matches. So DR Congo is a very, very tough team, very physical. Zambia, they are not really tough like that, but they play robust collective football. And when a Super Eagles team meets a team as in a team that plays collectively, they tend to struggle. So in all of this, the best for us is to just come tops in Group A and meet the third place. Yes. Let's just come top, then wait for whatever happens. Let me also say, a very good team should not be afraid of whoever you want to meet. All you need to know is that now that we're in third round, a second round, which is the round of 16, you count the number of games. Round of 16, quarter-final, semi-final, final.
Semi-final, and final. 4 more games to go.
Yes, 4 more games to go. 4 more finals. 4 more finals. I remember I told you, okay, we've not spoken. I spoke with Igavon after the match against Cote d'Ivoire. And he said he has spoken to the players. And he told them, no matter who you meet, play as if you are playing the final. So you should not, at this point, if you can beat the host country, you should in this competition. That is the even if they bring Morocco, okay, let's play. If they bring Senegal, let's play.
It's football eventually.
Definitely.
Some bit of news from the Super Eagles camp. We understand assistant captain William Troost Ekong is out of today's game after playing through injury in the last game against Ivory Coast. What's the updates about that? Are we going to get to see him today, or we just have to see some rotation?
There will be a final check about 2-3 hours to the match, because I learned he was also injected before the match against Cote d'Ivoire, and he almost was substituted earlier, but eventually he left and Omero came in. However, for today, they are still trying to see if we could play. If not, it's a match that we could manage a substitute in Omeru. The problem I have with Omeru is that it's a little slow. And if Omeru is coming in, unlike what I said in our last interview that I want an all-out attack, it also means we have to go with the same formation we had against Cote d'Ivoire, which is about 3-man defense plus the halfbacks making 5. So that those 3 in the middle will help themselves. It is when you are very sure of your center back that you can depend on the center back, or even play 3 at the back outright. It's also possible to do that. However, if Ekong is not there, Ekong, I was surprised that he's so sharp and he's coordinating his men well. Semi Ajayi is a little shaky. I don't know why. Then Basti is the one that sweeps for the entire defense. He goes forward to sweep in front while the other guys will stay to tidy up. So that worked for us in the match against Cote d'Ivoire. It also worked a little against Equatorial Guinea. So if he's not playing, it will be a bit of a problem. But they said they will check him finally, maybe 2-3 hours to the match, then they will determine whether he will be fit enough or not. I think it's just like a safety measure.
All right. Before we let you go, Mr. Salami, my colleague here, Eniton, asked some one question for you as well.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Salami.
Afternoon. How are you?
Yes, Eniton here. I'm very fine, sir. Okay, so now that we have Trust Ekong out of this clash, how important do you think Victor Osimhen can be to the team in this game today and going forward?
Osimhen, Ekong, how do you mean?
In terms of leadership, everybody.
Osimhen in any way cannot be a leader in that team. If Trust Ekong is not playing today, the person that is likely to captain is going to be Omeru. Omeru will stand in. If Omeru is not captaining the team, even Iheanacho can be the captain. If you put Band on Osimhen, you are going to kill him. Number one, he's still carrying this African footballer team that is affecting his play already. To add a Band to it will just be, it will be a disadvantage to Nigeria. Let him just play his game, and he's still trying to come to terms with the fact that he's the best player on the continent. That is why you saw, that is why he's been missing those chances. Ordinarily, Osimhen will not. I spoke with him today's Saturday, and he promised that the misses of the first 2 matches, he will try and redeem today. If Ekong is not going to be there, the next captain would certainly be Omeru, if Omeru is starting. If he's not starting, there are a few number of players that should come in. Even Simon Moses can be the captain, definitely not Osimhen. He's already, let him just go there and get the goals for Nigeria. We don't want him to be our leader. Let him go there and get the goals. That's more important.
All right. Thank you very much.
At the end of the day, it is the goals that will win us the match.
It is it, of course. And like William Trust Ekong said in the last match, he leads from the front. So let him just do the job up front. Thank you very much, Mr. Salami.
A good team. Yes, my pleasure. A good team should have a leader up front, a leader in the middle, and a leader at the back. I explain. When we had some Super Eagles before, the back, Uche used to be the leader. In the middle, it could be Okocha, it could be Kanu. Up front, it could be Kasia, it could be Ekene. So why not? You will see that he normally leads in the front. He will tell them, cover this, cover that. He will be telling them what to do. His leadership should be in the front, not the entire team. No, that would be too much fun.
All right, that will do as far as our conversation is concerned this morning, Mr. Salami. This afternoon, Mr. Salami. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope to join you subsequently on other editions of the show. Please have a good time in Abidjan later today when you are monitoring the 2 simultaneous games.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's nice to be here.
Let's just quickly go straight to some of our talking points as we reached the finish line on the show this afternoon. It's been a long walk for Nigeria and all of that. But first, let's talk about some of the statistics that are making the major headlines. Emilio Nsue topping the highest goal scorers chart. We have about 1, 2, 3, 4 players. 2 players on 3 goals, others on 2 goals. How is the thing eating up in terms of who scores and who leads and who takes the golden boots?
Well, I think for now it is quite difficult to determine because you don't know, because of the upsets in the tournament so far, and you don't know who will score next. And it's quite surprising. Sue had the hat-trick, the first hat-trick of the tournament, and you don't...
the first hat-trick at the AFCON since 2008.
Interesting. So you don't know what's coming next. However, having scored 2 or 3 goals alongside the Algerian player, I think I should expect them to score more, but it depends on how far they will go in this tournament.
Multiple goals for Victor Osimhen today. Did you see that?
I will be looking forward to it. I'll be looking forward to it. He has what it takes actually, to score, and that depends also on the team, how the team plays. Like you said, when you play as a team, it is very good. So if the Super Eagles play as a team, and then they try to push forward and not focus entirely on Osimhen, but then if you have a free flow game, I think he can score. He just needs not to pressure himself too much.
All right, a little bit of news from Cameroon before we go on the show. Samuel Eto'o and Onana, we understand they've not been speaking since the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, and now he say he will be conducting a patriotism test for Cameroonian players. It's really bad for the indomitable Lions.
It is. Like, these are the kind of distractions that you don't want when you are already in a tournament. Initially, it used to be issue of payments, maybe the federation owing the players for match bonuses and all of that. But then now you are in a big tournament. This is like the biggest of all tournaments in Africa. Like, this is the biggest, you understand? And you don't want this kind of distraction especially from your big players. Onana is the #1 goalkeeper.
In Cameroon.
And you don't want this distraction. I think they ought to have settled
all the differences
before this tournament, or before even calling him back to the national team. They ought to have settled this. And I see Samuel Eto'o as he's a big star. He's a legend in the game.
Currently the president of Fecafoot.
Yes, and he understands the importance of unity in a team, especially when you're in a tournament. So I hope he's doing the right thing. I feel and expect that he's doing the right thing. But I just don't want them to take it too long and then now put all the blame on one person and say, oh, it was because of this that Cameroon lost. I want to see good football. Cameroon they have a good team. We want to see good football.
Nigerians don't even want to play them.
I'm also amongst the Nigerians that don't want Super Eagles to play Cameroon.
They are as dangerous as that.
Yes.
So just before we go on the show, let's just go home with this talking point about a heavyweight clash that is coming up in the world of boxing between Anthony Joshua and Franscis Ngannou. Ngannou, this will be Ngannou's second fight in boxing since quitting the UFC. He almost did something spectacular.
I hope he doesn't do it this time.
But this time against Anthony Joshua, is this even should Joshua even have been in this situation?
So I was hoping that I would not be the first person to say what you have just said now, because the first time I heard the fight was going down, I was wondering who advised Joshua, why would they have to go against someone like Franscis Ngannou? Experience-wise, yes, you can say, oh, he's the first time, but then you can't rule that out. It's a pound,
pound for pound.
Yeah, it's pound for pound, and it's the strongest, and maybe tactics also that would last. And what Andy Ruiz did against Joshua, you cannot rule out an upset. You understand? But I hope he doesn't finish what he started against Tyson Fury when he fights Anthony Joshua.
Well, for Joshua too, I think he's on kind of ascendancy, and I hope that he doesn't take steps backward after this fight. So let's just wish him all
a
the
victory
best.
would be a big step for him.
A very big step for him. So
but I root for him anytime, any day.
Match 8 is going down. So that is as far as that is concerned. And of course, in the Africa Cup of Nations today, we'll be having Guinea-Bissau against Nigeria by 6 p.m. The same thing with Ivory Coast versus Equatorial Guinea. And in Group B, our brothers, Ghana, will be facing Mozambique, while Egypt and Cape Verde will be vying for another place. Egypt will be vying for a place in the round of 16 when they face leaders Cape Verde in Group B as well. It's battle to finish as teams look for the ticket into the round of 16 at the Africa Cup of Nations. If you called out on the last strike on the show this morning, this afternoon, you are right. The show returns later today when we'll be giving you the preview of the match between and some team news about the Super Eagles game against Guinea-Bissau. But until then, Eniola,
yes, my advice for every Nigerian, please eat before you watch this match and have a good game.
Oh, but then whether or not you eat, it's nothing as big as that. With 4 already, we are good, but it depends on who we want to play in the next round of the competition. Until next time, when you see again, my name is Abiodun Adewale.